Hello and welcome back. This is MP Roy. In our last tutorial video, I showed you how to start from scratch and write your permissions file manually, actually editing the file. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we did last video. Here we see that we've got our default group all set up and ready to go, and we did this manually without using the in-game commands. So in this video, let's go ahead and go a little bit further with this. So right click, edit file, and let's start with our next group. So I believe our next group was VIP. So the first line of the group is the group name. The second line, this time with the group name, tap space over 2 times. With the next line, space over 2 more times from that, so 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So default, actually we don't need this. We need one group that is the default group. Once we have that line in one of the groups, then we don't need to add that line anymore. So let's go on to the next line. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and add the prefix. We'll give this a color of A. I don't know what color that is, but it doesn't matter. Now we've got our prefix set up. So let's go to the next line. The next line is going to be the inheritance line. Remember, the default group inherits nothing. The next group will inherit the default group. So this time, tab over 4 times, a dash, and then the name of the group. So we are inheriting default. So now we're ready for our permissions. The word permissions with a colon, and then the next line would be a dash and then the permission node. So in this case, I believe we added essentials.hat, or the ability to use the hat command. So since the VIP group inherits all of the permissions from the default group, we're done with the permissions for this group. So now it's on to the options. In this case, rank. So the word options, a colon, and then on the next line, space over 2 more times, rank. The default group's rank is 100, so let's go ahead and give this a rank of 90. And now we're done with the VIP group. So let's go ahead and save this and test it out. PEX reload, permissions reloaded, make sure everything's good in game. Yep, we're still a default group. So let's promote ourselves one group with the same commands that I showed you earlier. So PEX promote MP serve. I've been promoted, so let's see. Turns out I'm now VIP. So now if we do help, you'll see that even though all that we added was /hat or essentials.hat, we also have the other commands that the default group had. This is inheritance. So now let's go ahead and add one more group. Now, once we've moved a group out of the default group to another group, in order to keep track of who's in what group, it's going to add an extra line down here. Users, MP serve, group, and then the group name. For our purposes, you don't actually need to edit the users. So let's go right above where it says users, and that's where we're going to add our next group. Notice we're doing this in order so that it's easier to keep track of. So the next group was moderator. So space 2 times, the word moderator, and then a colon. For the next line, space 4 times, and let's set the prefix. So this time we're going to use, and I don't know, 4. I believe that's red. So as a reminder, make sure to enclose your prefix in single quotes. Next line, space over 4 times, and then we're going to set up the inheritance. So VIP inherits default, moderator is going to inherit VIP. So inheritance colon, and then on the next line, space over 4 times, a dash, and then the group name, so VIP. Now we're ready to add permissions. So permissions colon, space over 4 times, and now we can start adding permissions. So essentials dot ban, essentials dot mute, essentials dot kick. Now that we're done with the permissions, let's set the options. So this is the third group as far as its rank on the ladder. So since the group above it is 90, we can set this one to 80. So space over 4 times, 2 more below after that, and then rank enclosed in single quote parentheses 80. So now we're done with the moderator group. Save, PEX reload, and let's make sure. Now let's go ahead and promote ourselves to moderator. PEX promote MP serve. Here we see user promoted to moderator group. Let's test and make sure. Yep. So our prefix is red. It says moderator. Let's see what commands we have. You'll see that we have ban, hat, help, home, kick, mute, set home. Help 2. So we have each of the commands we just added to the moderator group plus hat from the VIP group plus the default group. Now let's go ahead and add one more group. That's going to be the owner group. So we go down to the bottom of this, right above users. We don't want to edit that. So space 2 times the group name, which is owner. Hit enter. Space over 4 times. Prefix. Now we're going to do something a little special with the prefix. We're going to set the brackets to white. And then we're going to set the name owner, or the prefix owner, to gold. Then we're going to set this closing bracket to white as well. Now we want the owner's name to actually display in a different color. So we're going to do that in E. So the prefix is prefix colon space a single quote and F and then a bracket and 6 and then the word owner and F to color the closing bracket white, and then to color the owner's name in a different color and E and then close the single quote. So now the next line, we don't need to inherit anything. We're going to give the owner every group permission in the game, so we don't need to inherit anything. So space over 4 times, type the word permissions and a colon. Remember, the all permission node is a single quote and then an asterisk and then a closing single quote. And now let's set the rank. So options, rank, and since the owner is obviously the highest rank on the server, we're going to set his rank to 1. So single quote 1 and then a closing single quote. Save. Make sure that we do PEX reload. Everything looks good. Permissions file successfully reloaded. Now let's promote ourselves. PEX promote MP serve. So now let's test. So now looking at my prefix, you see that the bracket around it is white. The name is there. The prefix is actually gold. The closing bracket is white, and then my name is listed in yellow. So now let's do /help. Here you'll see page 1 of 14. So that means that I actually have every permission that this server provides because I'm the owner. That's going to do it. Let's go ahead. Well, first let's go ahead and take a look at our file. A look at the finished product. So this is what your file should look like. Let's once again demonstrate the importance of syntax, spacing, and maintaining the proper format. Let's make it easy and let's go to the owner group. So here at the owner group, let's say that we accidentally forgot that we can't use tabs. So instead of spacing over 2 times, we hit tab. Now this one is hard to figure out because it may look the same. So let's save it, come back and do PEX reload. And now you'll see that we're provided with a rather vague error. And since our permissions won't load, well, apparently they will. Regardless, we're provided with a rather vague error, and this is going to cause problems in the future. So it tells you that it's on line 31 and that there's a problem at the beginning of the word owner. So let's go back and take a look at that. We see that we're spaced over too far and that we used a tab. Never use a tab in a YML file. So space this back over twice, click save, and now do PEX reload. And we should see permissions reloaded and everything should be good to go. That's going to do it for this video. In our final video, I'm just going to show you some tips and tricks that you can do with Permissions X to make your life simpler.